This episode is sponsored by Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore.
That is an investment, what you're talking about. That is a cost. That is a leadership thing. It's a management thing. What you're suggesting here is that, we're investing in a lot of shirts, and we're investing in the time and energy that it takes to get your crew to keep the vans clean every single week. That's that there's a lot of action there. Like there's a lot of doing and maintaining those things. But what I think is so important for people to understand is that the painting process, that is the product.
Right.
That is the product. The product is not the website. The product is not the sales pitch.
Right.
The product isn't any of those things. The product is the paint, the actual job, the experience, and the quality of the work.
That's
the people.
right.
The people that are doing it.
Yeah.
And when I think about technology, I've always thought this about technology. You represent a technology company. The purpose of the technology isn't the technology isn't the product that you're providing.
Correct.
The technology is there to facilitate people doing their best work.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's there to make sure that your painters are able to show up and just focus on doing a really outstanding job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To your point, if we're disorganized, if they feel disorganized, I've had painters come to me. I've had painters leave my company and then come back because they're like, I went and painted for another company. They're a disorganized mess.
Yeah.
I gotta have the organization that you have.
Yeah.
Right.
People like structure.
Yeah.
People like structure.
So when we're thinking about, if we were to go about organizing and putting a structure and process in place for the beginning of the job all the way through the end, if we didn't have a tool, because we're gonna talk a little bit about your tool, but let's just say we didn't have a tool and all we had was a whiteboard in our office, and we just needed to list out the steps and then have everybody memorize them. What would the perfect job look like?
Well, I've worked in that scenario actually, where there really wasn't a lot of tools like that to help, and apps and things like that. So, it was the whiteboards, and you have to be creative at that point. You have to create intake forms to get all the customer information. You have to create some kind of a follow-up system. A lot of people use Excel spreadsheets, Word documents, some kind of a filing system. They have something on their desk. Like I used to have something on my desk that was kind of like, okay, follow up number 1, follow up number 2, and it was kind of like a system. And you create systems. People like systems. And sometimes people get stuck in their systems and they're afraid to kind of get away from the systems and into the easier systems and technology. And that's what I find a lot of times, that it's their comfort zone. And completely understand that. Makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
Completely understand, because they've been working like that for 10, 15 years. I get it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is graduating, because that's a graduation from the system that's been working for you for so long, and going into, a system that has been developed and has been proven to increase your productivity, to increase profits, and overall, like, help everybody in the company. It's amazing. And people that are afraid, but then eventually do it, they're like, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner?